Chapter 364 Forbidden I Speak. Where is this? Bei was currently standing in the middle of a bustling street. Seeing this, he was quick to question his surroundings, as this place was unfamiliar to him. However, he'd been brought here after the golden lights flashed. Suddenly, a dim light flashed, and a figure silently appeared in front of him. Bei! A voice softly asked, "Hey!" Bei focused his gaze on the person. All he saw was a smiling, handsome face. He couldn't describe his feelings when he saw who it was. This person had long, flowing, sky-blue hair, while their azure eyes contained a gaze as deep and boundless as an ocean. He revealed a gentle smile on his face that made him seem very reliable. "Follow me." The person slowly turned around. In just a single step, he'd already moved more than 10 meters forwards. Although Bei didn't know what was happening, he was crystal clear that he was in an illusion of the yin-yang love querying valley. He quickly followed the person that had just appeared. The man wasn't walking too fast or too slow. He was moving at a pace that he could follow comfortably. Oddly, the bystanders didn't seem to notice their rapid pace. Who exactly is this person? Bei wondered as he moved. Finally, the man stopped outside a house. He pushed the door open. Before walking in, Bei hurriedly followed him inside. The house's courtyard was very quiet. Everything about it seemed extraordinarily peaceful, too. Not even the sounds of birds or insects could be heard. The man led Bei into the main hall of his house. After passing the central hall, they stepped into the backyard, and finally came to a room. The man signaled to Bei and pointed at the room. Bei subconsciously walked towards the room. The door was already open. When he peeked in, his body shook tremendously. "Xiaoya!" Bei shouted, before instantly charging into the room. Yes, there was a lady seated cross-legged on a bed inside this room. Her body was currently flashing with a bluish black glow. Her hair flowed behind her back, while her expression was calm, albeit slightly pale. She was Tanya. "Xiaoya!" Bei charged towards her and lifted his hands to grab her shoulders. However, he grasped nothing but air. After a moment, Bei was stunned to realize that his hands had gone straight through Tanya's body. Why? Why am I illusory? Xiaoya. Bei, who was normally calm and refined, started to experience an outpouring of emotions. He wanted to hug her. He wanted to hug her slender body, hold her in his embrace, and use his body heat to warm up her icy cold body. Everything around him suddenly distorted slightly. Tanya gradually disappeared, followed by the house disappeared, and finally everything around him disappeared. After this, a huge pinkish flower with a refreshing floral scent entered Bei's vision. This flower turned into a halo before dispersing. Following this, he saw a sparkling, crystal clear blue ball take its place. It looked like it had an extension of crystals, yet seemed like it had leaves too. Everything around him turned illusory again. A strong wave of dizziness struck Bei, and he lost consciousness. Oh, why am I here? Wasn't this place already destroyed? He was astonished as he looked around him. His surroundings were filled with metal. There was a metallic glow and smell, which helped him immediately recognize that this was the underground research institute of the illustrious Virtue Hall. Both he and Hua Yua had once spent a long time in this research institute. However, it was completely empty now. "Come out, Shu He," a sinister voice echoed out. The moment he heard the word Shu He shuddered. He unwillingly turned towards the direction of the voice. He saw Shu Tianran, who was slowly approaching him in his wheelchair. Shu Tianran wore an aloof expression on his face, and several masked men in black were following him. All of them revealed strong auras from their bodies. He slowly stood up. At this moment, he was shockingly calm. Shu Tianran smiled and said, "I bet you didn't expect this, right, Shu He? We're actually meeting under such circumstances. I didn't expect a bastard like you to survive. Today, we can truly catch up as brothers. How have you been all these years? As your elder brother, I really haven't taken care of you properly." He gnashed his teeth and said, "Shu Tianran, I'm going to kill you." As soon as he shouted, he seemed to forget that he was a soul engineer, and leapt straight towards Shu Tianran. Shu Tianran wore a scornful expression on his face. He lifted his hand and He was flung into the air, crashing into a fortune table behind him. When he landed, he was in excruciating pain, and couldn't even stand up anymore. "You're going to take revenge by yourself? The entire Sun Moon Empire is under my control now. Yes, a son should pay his father's debts, but that entails being capable of doing so first. My father was ruthless when he massacred your entire family. I can still clearly remember how he impaled your younger sister with his spear. The desperate, pitiful look in her eyes. However, what could you do? What could you do as her elder brother? Could you have saved her? You couldn't. You didn't have the capability, am I right? In fact, don't you think that living is more painful than death? You've been carrying this hatred for years. How tiring must your life be? It'd simply be best if you died. Everything will be over when you die. Your father was fatuous. He wanted to keep the earlier agreement, but wasn't willing to ramp up the development of soul tools by turning experimental products into weapons, nor start a war and get back what belonged to the Sun Moon Empire. He wasn't fit to be emperor, even though I'm not very satisfied that my old man has lived for so long. I have to admit that he's been successful. Replacing your father was the greatest achievement of his life, and it has cleared all the obstacles in front of me. The future of the Douluo continent belongs to me, Shu Tianran. It belongs to the Sun Moon Empire. After I conquer this continent, I'll change its name to the Sun Moon continent. I want the words Douluo continent to completely vanish from this world." The more Shu Tianran spoke, the more fanatical he became. He seemed exactly like an evil villain as he sat there. He struggled up from the ground, his eyes already completely red. The hatred that he'd always been suppressing had been entirely unleashed at this moment. He let out a bestial roar of anger, before charging towards Shu Tianran again like a mad tiger. Shu Tianran wasn't bothered by this at all. He lifted his hand once again and flung him back once more. "Die. Dying will end everything. It's a pity that you won't get to see how prosperous the Sun Moon continent will be in the future. When you reach the afterlife, remember to tell your dead father that a ruler that doesn't know how to invade isn't fit to be one. Ask him to repent over there." He was under immense pressure right now, but a voice suddenly screamed, "No, I won't let you hurt him." And a tender figure suddenly appeared in front of him. He saw 2 yellow, 2 purple, 4 black and 1 red soul ring, which were extremely dazzling. Xiao. When did Xiao become a title Douluo? Right now, Xiao seemed to have grown up, and her figure had become more slender. She seemed to have a greater heroic aura and more mature elegance about her right now. As soon as she lifted her right hand, a beam of blinding, dark golden light descended from the sky. Suddenly, everything started to tremble. The beam of dark golden light was akin to extremely huge meteor that struck Shu Tianran and the masked men behind him. Boom. The beam of light exploded with earth-shattering power. The terrifying explosion turned everything around it into powder. The illustrious Virtue Hall disappeared. Everything disappeared. The only thing left was a huge depression left, as well as the tragic screams left behind by Shu Tianran and the masked men. He was dazed as he looked at Xiao. The physical pain that he felt seemed to have disappeared. By the time he crawled up, she'd already turned around. Tears streamed down her face, sparkling beneath the illumination of her soul rings. "Why were you so silly? Why didn't you tell me about the hatred in your heart? Why didn't you let me share your burden? Am I not your woman? Xiao. Fool. Even though you aren't handsome or romantic, I never despised you for anything when I decided to get together with you. You idiot. In the future, you have to share your pain with me. No matter what, your enemy will be my enemy." Xiao had already leapt into Hikadu's embrace as she spoke. She hugged his muscular body tightly. Tears flowed uncontrollably down Hikadu's face. Xiao. Gusts of chilly wind blew as snowflakes drifted in the air. It was completely white everywhere. Snow flooded through the air, and the ground was completely frozen. Located at the top of a mountain, there was less than 200 square meters of available surface area. There was a thick layer of snow on the ground. Not only was it cold, but it was also very tough. There were 2 identical-looking people on the mountain peak right now. Their eyes and hair were powdery blue, and they were both extremely ravishing. "Where is this?" Wang Donga was a little confused as she looked at Wang Qiu opposite her. Wang Qiu seemed to have sensed something. She looked very stern as she scanned their surroundings. This is the location of your sincerity adventure. A final fight on the summit of this icy peak. Who you are will go to whoever wins. An aloof-sounding voice echoed in the air. Wang Donga straightened her gaze. Can matters of the heart truly be settled through violence? It's the best way to resolve things. The two of you look the same and are equally outstanding. However, only one of you can be with him. The survivor will have the right to remain with him. He won't know what happened. Today, only one of you can leave here alive. There are countless icy mountains around you. If neither of you dies, you will both remain here forever. Wang Donga and Wang Qiu moved at the same time. They didn't charge towards each other. Rather, they turned around and rushed towards the edge of the icy peak they were on to look down. Even with her cold character, Wang Qiu's expression changed drastically as she gazed down. They were on a freestanding icy peak. There was only a deep valley beneath, the depth of which couldn't be determined. Gusts of chilly wind continuously blew upwards. Even as she glanced downwards, Wang Qiu could feel her body turning stiff. Yes, this was a forbidden zone. It was a forbidden zone with no escape. Compared to Wang Qiu, Wang Donga seemed very calm once she glanced down. She slowly walked towards Wang Qiu and sat down in the middle of the ice peak. Qiu, let's talk. Wang Donga gestured to Wang Qiu. Wang Qiu regained her cold and serious look and sat down 5 meters in front of Wang Donga. What do you want to talk about? About how much he loves you? She asked coldly. Wang Donga shook her head and said, not him. Let's talk about us. Let's talk about this place. About the yin-yang love querying valley. Wang Qiu's eyes brightened and she said mockingly, indeed, there's no need to talk about him. You're always the winner to him. What else is there to talk about? Even if I were to kill you now, would he ever fall in love with me? No. Even though I haven't spent as much time with him compared to you, I'm certain that he won't be with me even after you die. Wang Donga furrowed her brow. Qiu, what's wrong? Wang Qiu shook her head. I'm fine. Wang Donga lifted her head to look at the sky and breathed in the refreshing air. We won't be in danger. While this place is supposed to be filled with death, it is in fact filled with compassion. If you are sincere, you won't be punished. What? Wang Qiu lifted her head and looked at Wang Donga doubtfully. Can't you tell? Wang Donga said confidently, it's trying to help us repair our relationship. It's the yin-yang love querying valley, not the yin-yang love destroying valley. It only detests those who turn their backs on love. It's evident from the problems that it's posed us. We only rescue people. We don't kill people. That's why it's clear that this is a test of whether we care about each other. Wang Qiu became normal again. Then how do we leave this place? Wang Donga shook her head and answered, I don't know either. Let's get going. If the love querying valley is testing us, how could it not be testing him? Don't you think it's weird? Where do you think Qiu is? Wang Qiu furrowed her brow. You're smart and calm. But Wang Donga smiled. There are no buts. What's there to show off in front of your man? He's my heaven. Thanks so much for watching this video. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Also leave a comment down below with suggestions on what novels to read.